Hi, I'm Joey Pinz. People ask me, how did I lose 130 pounds? The quick answer is always discipline. I started my business, wasn't paying attention to my health, was eating too much, drinking too much sweets. My daughter was born. Next thing I know, I'm pre-diabetic, I have hypertension. I knew something had to change. Discipline. I, like many of you, have faced many challenges in your career, in your family, in your life, in your faith. How did you attack them? How did you approach them? How did you solve them, hopefully? It all had to have some degree of discipline. I'm also asked, how did you found and start a tech business that lasted over 25 years? Discipline. I was committed to it, enjoyed technology, didn't enjoy some aspects of it, but knew it was necessary. Discipline. Our podcast mission: how do we use discipline to better ourselves and society? Join me, please, as I talk to interesting people and discuss how they use discipline in their family, in their passion, in their careers, and how it helped them. Our podcast vision: growth through learning from others. Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. It'll be light and serious. Join us, please. Thank you for consideration. We're here at RoarCon 24, your first ever. It's so exciting. We're in a 20-yard line here. It's an exciting time. What do you hope the MSPs come away with here at your big event?
Oh man, the one thing I want them to do is just come back and say, I learned something from that event, and that fundamental thing I learned is gonna make me take some action, do something different. To me, that's the most important thing we could do. And teach and lead is our fifth core value. We take it very seriously, and I hope that the audience sees that we're very sincere. We're sharing the raw, unfiltered, no fluffy. Take out the fluff. We want to get down to the details because we're blessed to have worked with literally thousands of MSPs that protect literally tens of thousands of end customers. That gives us learning, and one thing we're good at is sponging, because our first core value is listen and learn. So we sponge all that good stuff. We do the lessons learned from that, and then what do we need to do? We need to give back. And so that's why it's awesome to get on stage and just say, look, this is what you've taught me. So I need to share it with all of you all, because I got this from you, this from you, this from you. And that's what I love about the MSP ecosystem, right? This is such an awesome place to drive that kind of connectivity. So
it's a great community. You're great on stage. You've got a great presence, Joey. The thing about you is you're very genuine. People see you and they say, okay, well, here's somebody who's lived it. He's not trying to just sell me, So the MSPs that are, you kind of have two segments here. Some that are current customers and some that are prospects. Is it the same message for both?
Yes, it is the same message, and it literally is look, life's too short. Number one, you want to drive profitable growth, because at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's a business. And at the same time, you don't want to lose your sanity. So we call that GPS: growth, profit, and sanity. And those three things are so important in the MSP. It's something I did not have. I did not have that sanity. We did have growth. We did have profit. We could have had better profit knowing what I know now. But one thing I did not have is sanity. It was crazy. It nearly killed me, right? That business was so intense. We did so many things, and looking back on it, I don't want anyone else to go through what I went through. And the fundamental thing that I saw is that we just had an inability to have the left hand know what the right hand was doing. And it's such a basic thing. It's like you gotta know the things that you're managing and securing. And unfortunately, and it's still happening today, every operator, if you ask them, I want to know if every user you're managing and all your customers has MFA enabled. Can you answer yes or no to that? And the answer is definitively no. So, and we know that is a very basic requirement that is necessary, that will protect you from a breach. So why isn't that turned on by default? What's going on? Well, there's hundreds of thousands of users they're probably managing. It's a lot. It's hard work. That's why the MSP is wearing a lot of risk, and it's hard work. It's why the business model is so dramatically critical. It's also why an end customer loves it. You know why? Because they take all of their stress off of their lap and go, you got that, right? Okay. Because I got to go run my business. It might be a coffee shop. It might be selling electronics. It could be a scientist, I don't know what, right? Pharmaceutical company, they're not a technology company. They leverage technology. They want the smartest brains helping them. So, I mean, that's what we have ahead of us, right? If you're operating an MSP, that's what you got to do. So, I mean, it's critical. It's critical for that end business.
Yeah, that Sanity, Joe. There's too many MSPs that I talk to that just have such poor life-work balance.
Yep.
You know, because it takes a lot of energy to run your managed service provider.
Yep.
You know, any business, and it's got to be part of what you do. It has to be.
It's ignored completely because we think about growth, we think about EBITDA, right? Where is the work-life balance in that? Because here's the thing, your best work, your 10x, your flow state, it happens when you've actually taken a break to recharge. And when you do, you're going to get something done 10 times faster. That's just the reality. You're going to connect the dots quicker when you don't have sleep, when you're stressed out. You're not your best self. And unfortunately, you're letting down your customers. That's what's going on. You're letting down your team. No one wants to see you in a bad mood on a Monday.
Right.
It's like you want to walk in with a smile on your face and go, hey, how's it going? Good morning. Right? Not weekend sucked. It wasn't long enough. Life's too short for that. Let's go. Let's find a new way, right?
Certainly is. I was talking to Vin, your other co-founder, earlier, and so within the last 6 months or so, or maybe more by now, you brought in a CEO. You brought Michelle in. How's that transition been?
It's been like transformational for me. Like it's been more than a year now. And Michelle, I couldn't have picked a better CEO to come in. She knows the ecosystem. She's so passionate so much that at our kickoff this year, I told the team, guys, I want to tell you this. Michelle is officially a co-founder. The way she operates, it's like she was here from day one.
Wow.
She genuinely has so much passion for the product. And I know this because I get text messages from her on a Saturday night about something about what we need to be doing. And I'm like, this is great. And it's just, she loves it so much. And she just comes up with an idea. And I'm like, this is what founders do. And that's what she has. And she has that passion. So I consider myself lucky to have brought her to the team. And I'm thankful she said yes. And what it's allowed me to do is to not be responsible for the whole thing, but to go back to the product, to go back to the customers, our partners, and talk to them more, to go, okay, how have things changed since you worked with us? And how has the market changed? And what I'm discovering is that thing the reason why I founded the company, I'm able to spend more time doing those things, and it's more protected time to go do my 10X. Which up to a certain scale and size of the business, sure, I can be CEO. But it does take some degree of self-awareness to go, is this my best and highest use right now for the business? And the answer is no. When we got past pretty significant threshold, I'd say by about 2022-ish, it was time. Right? And I'm thankful that we went through a recruiting process, which took a little while to find the right person for the company. And I'm thankful we took the time to pick the right person. And it's been freedom for me to be able to then now get on stage and talk about the product and talk about the value and come here and meet folks, catch up with you. Because we learn, right? We learn doing that. So.
I don't think it's such a valuable lesson, Joe, because I don't think the Google founders get enough credit for this. There's a time where they said, let's bring in a CEO.
Yep.
Facebook never did that.
Yeah. No, Mark Zuckerberg is one of the longest standing.
Absolutely.
It's interesting.
I'd love to have the conversation that he should be CTO and not CEO, by the way. And same thing with Microsoft, right? You had, Bill Gates and... but I think... I talked to a lot of MSPs, Joe, and a lot of times, I know the percentage is, the owner gets in the way of their growth. They should bring somebody in to do that, and they can do the things that they like, the technology, the customer service. I think a great lesson can be learned here with MSPs.
Yeah, sometimes you got to let it go a little bit. And you know what it is there's a simple lesson that I share with folks, which is take away the I and the me and say we a whole lot more. And when you programmatically say we, even when you know that maybe that was your idea, your thing, this is what we believe. Not this is what I believe. This is what we believe. it changes the way your brain operates, and you start to understand that you are part of the team. You are not the hero. Because when you're the hero, guess what happens? When the hero is not there, nothing gets done. But when it's the team and you're executing as a team and it's a we, not a me, and so you have to rewire your vocabulary, even when you're talking to customers, and say, hey, this is why I believe this. And I keep listening to myself and go, oh, I slipped. I should have said we. And I said I. And that's where like I try to forcibly change to a we as much as I can. And it rewires my brain to recognize that the only reason we're here is because of the team. There might have been an idea or a concept, but there is no way I could have even gotten to step 2 without Vin, and step 3 without the rest of the team, and now step 10 with Michelle. And each person has brought their own new perspective, much like Satya Nadella has done for Microsoft. Unbelievable. Like what's happened there, right? It's just interesting. His perspective was so different, and he brought a new aspect to Microsoft. And it's awesome to see that kind of progression of leadership, and they bring their own 10x and their own thought process, which elevates the game. Right?
Sure does.
So, yeah.
Now you started as an MSP.
Yes. Yep.
And the transition from MSP to vendor.
Yeah.
Fun?
It was exciting. I mean, because we sold our business, and I was exhausted. I was just like, I was well done, as I say it. And so I worked for 2 more years there. And I got to do something fun there at the tail end. For the last year, they asked me to help the sales team just to go close deals. And that was fun.
Wow.
I just went in as a cleaner, helped the sales team, coached the sales folks. I actually have one of those people texting me right now saying he wants to grab lunch. You know, we talk about the days back there in 2013 to 2014. And then I decided, it's time for me to move on. So, and I told my original business partner, Vin, at the same time, was also deciding to move on. There were 4 of us. There's another guy named Sean Pinto. And so 2 of them stayed, Sean and Dave, and then Vin and I left. And then from there in 2015, we founded LionGuard, and it was a calculated decision. We're not going to do services this time. We're going to do software. So we're trying something different. And we said, let's make this VC backed. Let's grow faster. And so the organic growth thing was all right. We did that. Let's try something different. And boy, what it was an experience. And boy, it was a lot more learning there than I realized that I needed to do.
Just VC relationships?
Venture capital businesses, venture capital backed businesses. It's a completely different ball game than organic growth type businesses. And on top of that, there's another one which is PE backed. So VC backed and PE backed are 2 different styles, where VC backed generally are very high growth focused. PE backed are going to be more profitable growth oriented. And so understanding the dynamics of your investors who are then on your board, it drives the business in a different direction. And so you've got to make sure that you're aligned with all of your constituents, which, you've got a board, you've got investors who put a lot of money in, and they want to see you be successful. And so you want to make sure everyone's on the same page. And I'm thankful that what we're focusing on now, I have not seen a tighter alignment now between what we're tackling than we have with what we're positioning on the importance of managing the attack surface. Thankfully, our TDF Ventures, Updata Partners, our lead investors, Integrated Capital, one of our first early stage investors, Michelle, myself, the whole executive team, we know in our heart what we're talking about here at RoarCon, this has to happen. And this is important, it's fundamental to actually addressing these data breaches that we're seeing on headlines constantly. It is infuriating. It is unacceptable. We've got to make a dent in that. And what we're doing is going to make that dent. It already is. And I want us to move with a greater sense of urgency, which Michelle kind of taught me that. And when she added that core value to our list of core values at LionGuard, to move swifter. It is urgent and important work. There's no time to be wasted. So we got to move.
And that was about 7 years ago. You started LionGuard.
2015. So that was about nine and a half years ago. And then we went GA launch in 2018 is when we launched. And that was when the ride went pretty wild and crazy. Like we were struggling selling in the first quarter of the year Sean Saylor, our first sales guy, he calls it the lost quarter. We didn't get our positioning right, and then we found the messaging around automated documentation, which was actually automating the asset inventory. That was the problem. People didn't know. They said, Joe, we'll go for the ride on all the security stuff you're talking about, but I don't even know what I'm managing. And I still have I hadn't fully appreciated what that problem was. And it's just knowing that is synonymous with the attack surface. I didn't fully, I was pontificating about the attack surface. They were telling me about automated documentation. It's the same thing.
Wow.
And I looked at it originally as different. And I'm like, oh, I should have listened harder to all of the early stage MSPs that were actually telling me what the problem was then. Now, fast forward to now, they're like, okay, now you need to make the user experience easier. You pulled all the data, and yes, you completed that promise, but you have not made it easy enough for us to take someone straight out of college, train them, get in there, and be productive so that they can help also manage and protect.
Wow.
It's not just about the protect, you got to manage too. And before that, you got to provision. So that's why we're rolling out this cyber resilience framework that actually encompasses all of the work of the MSP, which is not limited to security. You were there to set it up right the first time, and you were supposed to deliver a lights out operation that operated like a fridge. Why? Because your end customer wants to run their business. They don't want to be IT experts. That's your job, right? That's what they're like, that's your job. Like, I'm running my business. That's why I hired you. So they don't want to hear about the riffraff. They just want to know they can sleep at night, and they want to know that their technology is best in class to deliver the coffee shop, right? If that's what it is. Or it could be a football field.
Yeah.
It could be a football team, like where we are here. So, I mean, there's so much value creation potential, right? In all of that.
Is.
So.
Yeah, we're here at the Dallas World headquarters. We're on
Yeah.
the 20-yard line of their indoor stadium.
I
here.
love this venue.
It's very cool. It's 5,000 people. I understand like 8 high schools play here.
Yeah.
So very.
You know the silliest and funniest part is we have the best padding of any conference I've been to.
It is great.
I'm very proud of this.
It
The
is
turf.
great padding.
It is. I would love to play football on this.
yeah, it would be pretty cool. Why work with MSPs?
Why work with MSPs? Because life's too short to worry about all this nonsense. If you're 10x, let's pick a business. Like, what kind of business outside of technology? Just
Architecture.
Architecture, great. If you are, let's say, a group of 10, 15, 20 architects, are you trying to create amazing outcomes in architecture and design? Or did you want to take care of the Microsoft 365 setup? Which one did you sign up to do? So when we think of it that way, when you think about what people aspire to do in their life, did you aspire to be the best technical security expert? Is that what you? No, that's not me. Well, why would we want to do that? Why would we even want to have any one of our people do this? Why would I even hire anyone to do this? Because the most important thing you do is run the tightest team, delivering that amazing outcome, and everyone is driving that value, working with partners that do what they do best. And what happens then? You have the best IT, you have the best security, you have the best architecture outcomes, and everyone gets to have some sanity. And guess what you get out of it? Profitable growth. Because that's what we're trying to get done. We want to conduct business. We want to, take care of our families. We want the business to have enterprise value at the end of the day. So why are you wasting time doing something that's not your area of expertise? Come on, let's go. Life's too short. Let's go.
I love the community. I've been to MSP for 30 years. I
Yeah.
sold in 2019, but I still love working with them.
Congrats on that, man. It's such a great outcome, right?
Very
so
nice.
I see the transformation that, I kind of observed it from the outside in, like, what you've been doing.
Yeah. It's I love working with MSPs. So I do a lot of fractional work with them. I help some vendors as well.
Yeah.
So having these kinds of conversations show that selfishly helped me because I just understand more. But hopefully anybody listening can glean something from it too. What's the biggest things MSPs should make? What should they do to become more efficient, to become more profitable, in your opinion?
Less is more. Don't overcomplicate what you're doing. Really, listen more to your customers. Just listen to what their real problem is. Sometimes we overcomplicate it. And what I'm going to tell you more so than anything else, if I were to start up an MSP business right now, what I would start up is an MSP business that focuses most heavily in educating my customers to use the technology better. Do you know how dysfunctional most businesses are with Slack and Teams?
Really?
How dysfunctional people are with SharePoint? How dysfunctional are they with even using basic email? It's kind of sad. How many people know how to make pivot reports in Excel? But it's mind-blowing for people when they realize it. When I always helped folks unblock a IT issue, I got a thank you. But when I stayed a little bit further and go, oh, what are you working on? Oh, you're struggling with Excel? Tell me let me show you. Let me show you how to do that. Do you know the thing they remember? They remembered that thing that I taught them in Excel or in Word, or I showed them some new tech that allowed them to solve their business problem. The things we do to fix the laptop to get it up and running, they assume that. Wow. That's basic breathing. You better take care of that. How do you provide an experience that's unreal? Well, teaching is one of the best ways to create retention with your customer because you leveled them up. And they're not going to get that anywhere else. And so to me, being the trusted advisor, that concept, which is so overused, I almost think that it's like the trusted teacher in some ways or something like that, right? It just, if you think of it as a teaching opportunity and you taught every tech, every time you go fix something with somebody, make sure to share some knowledge, some bit of knowledge. I promise you that the CSAT ratings shoot through the roof because the end customer feels like, wow, they weren't brutal with me. They fixed my issue. They even showed me how to do this thing that I'm going to save some time doing this now. To do what? So that they can grow profitably themselves and have some sanity themselves. Because what are they doing? They're struggling in Excel on a Saturday morning. Instead, they should be hanging out with their kids. And you probably showed them how to take the shortcut. I mean, to me, it's right under our own nose. It's don't do the complicated. Do the simple really well. And you'll start to understand you just want to make an amazing experience for your customers. And that's what I would do if I were running an MSP. It would be education focused. So we would take care of the base infrastructure. It'd probably be pure cloud. I'd be like, there's no nonsense on-premise stuff. We only do cloud. And then it would be all about teaching. We would become expert at Teams or Slack. I'd pick whichever one. There'd be a set stack and go, we're going to make you the most technologically advanced business so that you can deliver that architectural firm that you wanted to deliver. We're going to show you how to store those immense diagrams in the best technology, and it's just going to work beautifully. So you can do your artistry, you can do your design, you can do your creative work, and not have technology hold you back. That's what the buyer really wanted. They're hoping for that. That's what they're hoping for, but we're kind of stuck halfway. Let's go all the way. So it's something that we're taking seriously at LionGuard too, which is how do we do that for our partners and where we've come up short, where we haven't done what I refer to as the last mile, right? That last mile, which is so valuable, which is don't take it right up there and then just kind of throw the baton. You got to do the warm handoff. You got to finish it. So we've taken some good harsh feedback, which is always welcome. Yes. But then you got to learn, you got to listen to that, and then you got to respond, and then come back and celebrate and go, that thing you told me, we did it. We did it.
It's not what you said; it's how you made them feel, right? Some smart person said
that's
that.
it. Yeah. That's it. That's what I used to tell my team. Like, guys, if you brutalize the user, and you solve the problem, you will get a low CSAT rating. If you don't even solve the problem, but you just make them feel good, you know what you'll get? You'll get high CSAT ratings. It's weird. Yeah. You could take longer solving that problem. You just have to have the right attitude, walk in with a smile on your face, ask them how they're doing. You got to address them by name. Say, hey, Joe, how's it going? How's your day? Joe. You have to say the name. You cannot avoid that. What is the most important word in any language? It's a person's own name. If you want to get their attention, that's all you have to do. Say that. They're like, oh, what's going on?
It means a lot.
Yeah. It makes it personal.
I heard Jeff Bezos always would say that whenever you read his stuff, it's like, stop focusing on your competitor and focus more on your customer.
Yep.
You know, make it simple for them, make it,
Yep.
you know, and bring it back to the basics. It really makes a big difference.
That's Simon Sinek speaks about that with the infinite game. Yeah, focus less on your competitors, focus on creating unbelievable experiences with your customers,
Right.
and its success comes naturally out of that. And you focus less looking over your shoulder, and you're looking at under your own nose. Like, how am I going to create more value with the interactions I already have, rather than chasing somebody else? Like, again, life's too short.
It certainly is. Joe, thanks for having me here. Your first
Oh,
event.
thank you for coming to the event.
So cool. Your team is such a delight to work with. It's so welcoming, and I really love how you're helping MSPs. Thank you so much for your time today, even right here for these few minutes.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate all the support.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources, and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.